What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the 2023 releases that have come out. Now, we've got some cheap stuff, we've got some designers, we've got some niche. Mixed bag, but I've got 7 specifically that, now that we're moving into the autumn season, I feel are just ideal for this weather. And if you're going to check out some newer releases, maybe sample a few things or pick something new up for your fragrance collection, I suggest you try one of these. So let's discuss these 7, shall we? Stay tuned. Starting with one that's much denser and greener than you may even expect, which I didn't expect it to be this dense. We're talking about Azzaro Chrome Parfum. Fir balsam resin is the star of the show. It's a rich, slightly earthy, sticky green type of smell. You do get a little bit of the aquatic, citric, metallic tone of the original Chrome, but it is not at the forefront. It's in the background. It is there to tie it to it. It's got a very piney green smell in the opening. Like I said, a little earthy, even a little spiced, if you will. Not the warmest fragrance, but also not the freshest fragrance. This one has a slightly matured, more grown-up type of vibe to it for being a chrome flanker. This is truly the chrome for the guy that grew up in the 90s, early 2000s with chrome and kind of wants the reimagining of it as he progresses in his life. That is basically what this fragrance is. It is progressing right along with you. So I love the chrome flankers. They always do a really good job, in my opinion, and they may have outdone themselves with kind of the route they took, what I would have expected to be more shower gel related, kind of in the realm of like a chrome extreme, or even the way the eau de parfum was, where it started to introduce some greens, pine needles or whatever, very green, but also still very much chrome, whereas this has less and less of that original chrome DNA and more of, like I said, this sticky fir balsam resin with that piney green note that was introduced to the eau de parfum. This is quite nice. A little different when you first spray it, but you go through a full wearing with this one, you may fall in love with it the way I have. I think it's great for the fall. It's Azzaro Chrome Parfum. This next one is independent niche that came out at the very beginning of the year. It was part of a 3-pack release from this house. One of my favorite indie niche brands to come out in the last year and a half or so. They haven't been around a long time. This is from Sphinx Fragrances. This is Sphinx Elixir. This is my favorite from the house. That's why I wanted to touch on this, because autumn season, this is ideal. It has a rich, resinous, incense, rose type of smell. Warm, rich woods, a little jammy, sweet type of feel to the rose. I believe it's a rock rose is the note here. It's got this mystery elixir accord. That's where all the incense and smokes and resins are hiding, along with some woods. A little bit of an animalic feel, a drier animalic feel, but not super funky or anything like that. This is so good. And quite versatile for what it is. I think you can pull this one off during the day. No, though not the most casual fragrance, it will make a statement. It has a presence to it, and the performance is fan-friggin-tastic, which I know is very important to a lot of people. You have no worries here with this extrait de parfum concentration. High oils. It is pretty loud off of the skin. A dense aroma, scent bubble, sillage throughout, the entirety of the wearing. I mean, I've never clocked it below 10 hours in the time I've spent with it, and we're definitely rolling into the season where I'm going to start wearing it more. And I would encourage you, if you're trying something from Sphinx, make sure Sphinx Elixir is one of them, because it's my favorite from the brand, so of course it's the one I'm going to recommend for this season, Sphinx Elixir. This next one is from Lattafa. So Lattafa's got 2 very prevalent releases for the year, in the same line too, but for me the newest one I think is just really, really good. For those of you that like slightly gourmand faceted fragrances, you'll like Lattafa's Bade'e Oud Honor and Glory. This is good stuff. It's white and gold bottle. Really looks nice, I have to say. It's a nice aesthetic, but here you're going to get a beautiful ripe pineapple smell, sweet vanillic tone. Woodsy, has this turmeric note that kind of gives it a different feel. I've heard some people tell me it's like Nichane's Ani X. I don't know. I've never tried Ani X. Ani is amazing. It's my favorite Nichane fragrance, so I can understand the tie-in. It's warm, it's amber. It smells like pineapple upside down cake plus turmeric and woods. basically what it smells like. Performance is ridiculous. The sillage on this one's strong. The last time I wore it, less than a week ago, all day I was getting whistle, and I only had it on the sides and back of my neck. I didn't have it on my arms or anywhere in the front, and I could smell myself all day long. So performance does not leave anything to be desired. It smells delicious. It smells delectable. Perfectly unisex. There's masculine tones to it. There's feminine tones to it. It is truly a model for what a true unisex fragrance is. Absolutely worth trying for this autumn, and it's very affordable. Again, that's Lattafa's Bade'e al Oud, Honor and Glory. Next is one of the more unique fragrances in this video. Really, there's a lot of uniqueness going on here. This is probably my favorite niche release of the year. I can't think of anything I like more so far at the recording of this, though there's some things that are in the running, but I've just been getting so much joy out of Wilhelm Parfumery Faces of Francis. This is gorgeous. If you like aldehydes, like I do, that's what makes me like the Y line so much. Why Eau de Toilette, why Le Parfum full of aldehydes? Obviously, this is a higher quality oil being used here, but spicy saffron, bright fizzy with spicy saffron. That's the opening. Very metallic, surprisingly. Very metallic, a little lactonic and creamy. This grilled pistachio note. There's oud listed, I believe cypriol oils here. There's other woods. Doesn't have any oud funk whatsoever. I don't get any oud funk anyways. But it is a warm woodsy tone as it dries down. This is extremely versatile, but also extremely unique at the same time. Normally, it's difficult to make those things go hand in hand, and Wilhelm Parfumery did just that. They did a great job. I feel like it's a Swiss Army knife. I don't think outside of super high heat, there's a bad time for this. It has an elegance and allure to it to dress it up. It also has a not so serious side with the aldehydes, especially in the opening. Aldehydes and that metallic accord to wear it casually, and it works, I think, spring, fall, winter, day and night, but autumn season and spring in the evenings, I think, are the most ideal situations for this. You can't go wrong here. This is, in my opinion, a must-try as far as niche releases of the year, just releases of 2023 in general. And I think this particular season that we're transitioning into, it's just built for it. So please, get a sample and try this. It's worth experiencing. Wilhelm Parfumery, Faces of Francis. This next one's my favorite designer release of the year. Some of you, when you hear me say that, you know exactly what fragrance I'm talking about. There's a possibility it's in the thumbnail. I don't know. I didn't make the thumbnail yet. But Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. I had a conversation about Night Vision EDP earlier today. I guess that's why it was on the tip of my tongue. But this is fiery hot spice, resinous, smoky, and leathery. The most grown-up, masculine, matured take on the Spicebomb DNA to date. In my opinion, it doesn't have all of the sweetness of the extreme. It doesn't have all of the brightness, like that Red Hots feel of the Eau de Toilette or the original, even the sweetness of that. This is grown man Spicebomb is kind of how you can look at it. Not that any of the other ones weren't perfectly fine for the grown men. And when I say grown men, I mean more in the 30-plus range. You're still a young buck when you're in your mid-20s. Let's call it what it is. You're still pretty wild, most of you anyways. But this, great performer and longevity, not super loud. The Eau de Toilette is a brighter, louder fragrance overall. This isn't quite as aromatic as the Eau de Toilette. You don't realize how playful and sweet Infrared EDT is until you smell the EDP. It's my favorite Spicebomb fragrance. They seem to top themselves pretty regularly because for me, Night Vision EDP, when it came out, I was like, oh, this is the best Spicebomb. Then Infrared EDT came out, and I was like, oh, this is the best Spicebomb. Now, here we go in 2023, and it's like, well, I'll be damned. This is the best Spicebomb. And there's a real good chance next year's release or whenever we get it, I might be saying the same thing. They seem to keep topping themselves, and the point being, they put out great fragrances in this line. So if you're a fan of spicy, it's my pick for designer release of the year, personally, and I would encourage you to get out and sample it, try it for yourself. It's incredible. Again, that's Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. Now, I mentioned one of the two, and I felt it was deserving to have both of the Lattafa fragrances that I spoke of earlier. So Bade'e Sublime. When I smelled this in a live stream unboxing, it literally just threw off my train of thought and kind of twisted my words and kind of left left me speechless for a moment when the aroma hit me, because I was in the middle of a sentence when I sprayed it. If you like Hawaiian Punch and you like rose, you'll like this. Shout outs to my buddy Dedrick for that descriptor, because I think it's just such a fitting descriptor. Hawaiian Punch and fresh rose. It's a lot of lychee, plum, and apple. More lychee and apple than anything else. Bright, fruity. Does lean a little feminine, don't get me wrong, because it's dominant with rose. You get more rose than anything else. There's saffron, there's jasmine, there's other notes listed. But it's really the fruits in the rose. That's what you can expect. It screams off of the skin. This is a loud yet alluring fragrance. It's one of my favorite releases of the year, so I was very excited and eager to talk about it once again with you guys. It's gotten even cheaper than when I bought it. Now you can get it for under $30 when in stock, whereas I got it for right under 40. Not a big difference, I get it, but it's impressive. From what I understand, it's a clone or an inspiration of a Kajal fragrance, Eden Apple or something like that. I've never smelled it. I think that's the name of it. It must be phenomenal, because I got to tell you, Lattafa's take on that, if indeed this is a clone of that, this is amazing. So that must be even better, because it's going to be even higher quality oils than this. But for the money, this is hard to beat. This is one of my favorite releases of the year, and it's not ideal for super high heat. I did wear it in the summer, but admittedly, when I wore it in the summer, I was still in Colorado Springs, which is a pretty, wildly different, really, type of summer weather than where I am now in the Florida Panhandle. Humidity, drastically different. So now that we're moving into the autumn season, it's kind of like what summer was over there, honestly, plus some humidity. And I think it suits it perfectly. So I think it deserved a spot in this video as well, as one that I absolutely feel like you guys should check out, especially if you're fans of rose. Any guys, any ladies watching this that like fruity rose, this is one of the best fruity rose fragrances I've ever smelled, bar none, hands down. There's no guarantees you're going to like it the way I do. That's with any of these fragrances. But I'll be damned, if you have a similar taste of mine or any of this sounds good, get your nose on this, because it's going to do well this autumn season. It's Latava Sublime. Last but not least, at the recording of this, it's still the newest release from Kajal Perfumes. It came out a few months ago. They do have some two new releases that are coming out. I believe they just released at the recording of this video. I haven't tried them yet, but Masa, man, it's very masculine. Don't get me wrong. Ladies that like masculine fragrances, I think that's where it becomes unisex, because it does lean quite masculine. There's a freshwater aquatic accord to this one that really changes the game. Now, why does a watery aquatic accord change the game? You might have immediately thought. Because this is spicy green, earthy green, and woodsy. Typically not something you really see with a freshwater accord. And it really works. It really, really works. I love this fragrance. This is one of the best releases of the year. Everything in this video, I feel, this is 7 of the best releases of 2023. That's why I wanted to talk to you. So of my favorites that came out, here we go. I think these are great for fall. Now you understand the topic if you were curious in any way, shape, or form. But this is so everyday wear. Such a good... This is the most versatile of the fragrances that we've talked about in this video. It is, believe it or not, the freshest one. Because of that freshwater accord, there's some fresh greens to it. There's some spicy greens. There's some earthy greens. Green, it is the theme. But mix it with a freshwater accord and a nice dense woody feel. It's harmonious the way these notes work together. The blend is impeccable, I think, for the accords that's created here. And performance is top-notch, as any of you that have experience with Kajal would expect. They're typically eau de parfums from the brand, but they have really good staying power while still having some brightness, because it's an eau de parfum and not a pure parfum. I'm going to spray that one again. And their presentations are absolutely fantastic. As you saw, that beautiful atomizer as well. So if you haven't tried this one yet from the house, just like with the other 6, I can't encourage you enough. Try all of these fragrances. If any of them speak to you, sound good, seem worthy of, having the olfactive experience with your nose, I think this one's got to go on that list. Kajal Perfumes, Masa. Well, that's the 7. Could I have done more to expand it to a 10 or a 15 or a 12 or whatever? Yeah, I could have. But sometimes it's better to trim it down as much as possible and really get down to the best of the best. Because some of you may be saying, what about Sphinx Elixir? What about Boss the Scent Magnetic? I thought you loved those. I did. So instead of bringing you my 3 favorite designer releases, I brought my favorite designer release. See what I'm saying? I brought my 2 favorite niche releases. I brought my favorite indie niche release. I brought my favorite affordable designer. Like, you see where the 7 came from here? We're here. So until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 7, have any of you tried any of them? What do you think about them? Do you share a similar opinion to mine? Do you have a differing opinion? All good. Keep it respectful. We can have a conversation about it down below. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 7 that I featured here and you give them a spray now, there's a really good chance you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.